Yeah.
Oh, Wager. There he is. Good. Keith.
Hey, sorry, what city are you in Ohio?
So I'm in Greenville, Ohio, which is about
What's that close
it's about
to?
35 minutes northwest of Dayton.
Oh, okay.
My
Keith,
county.
are you driving?
No, I'm sitting in my car parked. I'm at work and there's a fucking
good.
terrible fucking forest. Dude, the fire is insane.
No, where? Whoa, what the?
Shit.
The fire's in Azusa, but we're right by there. I mean, hold on, I'm going to show you guys. Give me a second.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, shit.
You guys see that?
Yeah, fuck.
So I'm hiding out in my car. It's fucking really humid as well, you know? Like,
oh,
it's insane, man. Like, but I don't want to get out of my fucking car. You know what I mean? Because the air is so nasty, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dang.
And I got to wear a fucking mask. So it's like, there's no, you know what I mean? Like, it is a fucking lose-lose, man. The air quality is terrible and it's really fucking humid out today. I don't know if you guys have been outside. Awful.
I haven't been outside in months.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because I'm a mental patient.
It's only 84 degrees, but the humidity is fucking gnarly. And then it might be caused by the fire, but like I got really lightheaded a little while ago. I had to go get like fucking electrolytes from the medic and shit, you know?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I guess we say this. Welcome back to another episode of It's All Bad. This is Mike.
I'm Keith.
This is Keith. We got Nathan here holding it down, and we got Kelly as our guest today at the End Times for one of our End Times broadcasts. Keith is in his car trying to avoid the fucking zombies. I don't know, man. I haven't left my house in literally, I guess you can say if it's more than 2 months, it's months. Kelly, you're from Ohio.
I am. Yep. OHIO.
What brought you?
There goes the season for college football.
Yeah, exactly.
Big Ten got canceled. No Buckeye season this year.
People are nuts about the Buckeyes. I know, it's crazy.
Dude, they are, man. I'm more of a pro fan, but I do follow them. But
who's your pro team?
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Nice.
Of course. Man, I love it.
It hurts.
Dude, best, I will say right now, best uniform in the league. And I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, and my biggest beef with the Packers is their uniform used to be dope, like in the dawn of man when they first started playing football with a fucking rock and an oyster or whatever they did. But like their uniform was great, that navy and gold, dope, and then it was good. And then now I'm like, but I still love them. It doesn't matter. But dude, the Browns, such a great uniform, clean.
Well, what's awesome too is that it's like we don't have a logo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, it's just like colors and stripes, and then we do have that little elf that runs around and the dog. But you know,
no, I love that. That's awesome.
Good time to be a Browns fan, though.
What was the best time you ever had
Best time I ever had.
What was the best time you ever had with the toxins?
Whew. Let's see. You always think that they're good. And now that after looking back on them, it's like, what the fuck was I doing? I would say the best time I've had was Hookahville, probably circa 96, 98, tripping balls.
What's Hookahville?
So Hookahville was like Acoustic Hookah was a band that was originally from Ohio, and every year they put on a huge festival like southeast of Columbus. It was pretty much. I mean, it was like a fish show, but just local. You know what I mean? So parking lot chaos. You know, I just remember those being the best times of like enjoying music, enjoying friends, enjoying the drugs. You know, having good
Yeah.
trips because I definitely got a bad one to share. And Yeah, so I would say, you know, even being out there, I remember one time, um, you know, where we just hit the NOS tent, you know, or the nitrous tent, and we all got our, you know, so it's like 5 for 1 or $5 for one or 5 for $20. You know what I mean? So you always get five. You got one on you. You got four inside your fingers. You know, four big balloons. We're walking away. We're walking away, and in front of us, one of my buddies like he's finishing his balloon, and we just see him fall, and then he let go of his fingers, and all four of his other balloons just went off flying.
Oh.
So he had to, you know, we checked on him, and he got back, and you know, he went back in line, got some more, but yeah, those the late high school acid shrooms. Um,
When was the first time you? When
black
was the first time you ever got high?
So first time I was about 14. Me and my stepbrother. My dad dated his mom for years. Um, they would stay. They would go out of town, and then like we would stay. Me and my buddy stepbrother, we would stay at my dad's place, and then ride our bikes into town, which was probably you know back then 45-minute bike ride. We live out in the country, and he knew some older guys or whatever, and we're at this house, and it was like creepy. There's like you know black lights and just a green light, not normal lamps, you know. And we're sitting there and they pass it around. And I didn't even know what I was doing, you know what I mean? It just burned my fucking throat, you know, totally fucking swag, whatever. And all I remember is literally like laying back and the cat got on my chest and was like making bread. And I get up and I'm like, dude, that fucking cat, you know, and like my buddy's like, there's no cat on you. And I was like, yeah, there was. There definitely was. You know what I mean? And so that was the first time smoking weed and burning my throat and hallucinating, I guess, on the first one. But I still swear the cat was there.
What and so then yeah, like what became your favorite?
I mean, for a long time it was shrooms and weed, and then eventually the booze just kind of took over. You know, I remember the first time, one of the first, I don't know if it was exactly the first time I drank, because I know like we'd be hitting the roller rink, you know, 14, 15, and tearing it up, playing pool, hanging out with all the older kids, you know, that could get the alcohol and all that stuff. So I do remember, you know, drinking 40s here and there. But the first time I know that I blacked out, um, I was like 15. We got done with the rink. We ran out to you know, country cruising, whatever. Buddy of ours had a big old van. We get back to I don't even know whose house we were at too either. It wasn't my buddy's house, and it wasn't anybody I knew. And we end up just drinking down in the kitchen. I remember being there drinking Zima, and it was so good. It was so good.
Drinking
That's
that
probably why I
Zima.
overdrank and blacked out. And
Yeah.
anyway, next thing I know, I wake up to my buddy knocking on the door saying, "Get up." And I still got my shoes on, I still got my glasses on, and I just pop up off the bed, and I'm in like an old Victorian bedroom, old school. I mean, it was just like decked out to like old school Victorian, and I'm like, where the fuck am I? What the hell happened? And
Yeah.
my buddy just told me that like I ended up passing out, and they took me upstairs.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So, but even man, high school was the times though.
Like in terms of fun times.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And what's the worst trip you ever had, or the worst
Oh my god.
adventure?
Here we go.
All right.
So
There's a few. There's a couple you wrote about. There's a couple you wrote about that I am interested in. So yeah, hit it up.
um so I'm working at Subway in high school. Getting high one night, and I had my group of friends, and then like all the older cool kids came in, like group of like 12 of them, right? Guys I had heard about, what other of my friends had partied with, yada yada. So I end up hooking them all up with free subs, and befriending them, whatever. And I get invited back to the one guy's house because I don't know if he was a senior at the time or if he had just already graduated. But anyway, he had his own place. And I walk in and it's just like smoking weed, drinking. I come around the corner and they have literally a 12-foot bong from the basement. They're lighting it in the very basement and then we're hitting it at the top of the steps. Granted, by the time you actually get the smoke, it's stale as fuck, no matter how big a pack of lungs you got. You know what I mean? And so that was my first introduction. So those were, from then on, it was like I was hanging out with all those guys. We became good friends, party friends, all that good shit, running around. And I think it was the summer in between my junior and senior year. And there was like 12 of us. We all planned to drop at like 1 p.m. Liquid. We do it. Everything's kind of fun. I'm waiting for it to kick in. In this house, in this house, he had already moved back to his parents. So the first floor was theirs, second floor was his. There was a patio outside the first floor, or I'm sorry, second floor, and just overlooked all these trees, huge ass fucking leaves. So all it hits me, and I'm out there, and these leaves are just like fucking dragon wings, man. And I'm like, what? What is that? What is that? Why is that happening? Are you guys seeing that? And it just like started snowballing from there. Like I was getting a little paranoid, yada yada yada. I end up leaving as I'm pulling down the driveway. They had like all these huge pine trees that were down there, and I can't even put it into words what it was like. But at the top of this pine tree, there was a globe, like Earth spinning, and then like faces of all my friends there, just whatever, hanging out, partying, whatever. But it was like I almost pulled into traffic while I was looking at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just the visuals were insane. So I end up leaving. I drive to another friend's house, another group of friends' house, and they freak out. Like I'm banging on the door. I mean, it was just bug-eyed, banging on the door. I come into there, and they're in their bathroom snorting something. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they were pissed at me. You know what I mean? They're like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" I'm like, "Guys, come on. Blah blah blah. I gotta tell you something. I don't even know right now." End up getting back into my car. The funny thing is, I end up driving home. My dad works out of his office. They're freaking out. I remember they're freaking out, like, "You can't be going in here. Your dad's home." Blah 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 blah. Flipped out on acid. We pull into the driveway, and his car is not there. The breath of like silent relief. I mean, like I probably would have went to a mental institution. Who knows? Anyway, we leave. I drop them off. I get back to the house, and I continue to freak out a little bit, but they were worried about me too. You know what I mean? They were like, "Dude, where the hell did you go? What happened? Blah blah blah." You know, and it wasn't normal for us to all drop together and then leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a nice wig out. I mean, like I'm still friends with all those guys now, and you know, they still talk about that.
What do you think?
Yep.
Like, what made you say like, all right, that's enough?
All right, so that was at the end, and the last like 5 6 years, it was just all boozing, and we end up we I end up I was a secret drinker. I couldn't drink at the house. I was married at that time, so I was literally drinking and driving
Oh wow! So wait,
all the
your
time.
wife wouldn't let you drink in the house?
No, I mean not in front of her. You know what I mean? Like I would keep it hidden. I mean she knew. You know what I mean? But it was like I had it in the basement or whatever. You know what I mean? So a lot of it
Yeah,
was I
sure.
worked in Columbus, so I'd be driving home on a Friday and I'd pick up two 24
Mm.
ounces and then usually stop to get another one. That was kind of my mo. But anyway, so January 2nd, I had a shoot uh, at a brewery in Dayton, and that day was like 3 degrees. There was no. They ended up losing their
Oh
power,
Jesus!
so they weren't going to
Okay.
open that day. So anyway, I'm there, and they're like, I don't know if we can figure out, if it turns back on, maybe we can do this. But they're like, and I had two twisted teas on my way down. I mean, at this point, I was like drinking day to day. You know what I mean? Like by 1 o'clock, I was starting to drink again. And I
Yeah.
mean, once I got to this point, it wasn't fun anymore. You know what I mean? I was already in and out of the program. But anyway, they end up setting me up with like a 6 pack there while we're waiting. I'm drinking their stuff. I'd already had a 24 ounce for sure, and ends up not happening. The power didn't come on, and so I leave, and I'm like, well, I got to get some food before I go home. So I stop at this local bar on the way home, got some food. Cavs game was on. I'm drinking Yingling and talking to this old guy next to the bar, next to me at the bar, and he reminded me of my grandpa for some reason. It was just kind of one of those
Yeah.
times at a bar. You know what I mean? You're like, oh yeah, this is fucking woo. Hey, what's up? Doing stupid shit. And anyway, so I have like 4 there with dinner, watching the Cavs game, and then I decide to go home. I get in the car. I take 2 hits of the pipe, which was just weed. And then I start drinking the rest of that twisted tea I had. So I'm mixing all this shit, yada yada. Anyway, I'm driving home, almost a brownout.
And you're about 12 beers in.
Oh yeah, and that's what I mean. That's way too much for me at this point. And I could feel it. And
Over the course of a while, but yeah.
yeah, and I knew my limit at that time. You know what I mean? Like toward the end, it was like a 6 pack, and I'm good. And anyway, I'm driving. I don't even know where I'm at when this happened, and I have to throw up. And like I said, it's 3 degrees outside. I don't get the window down in time, and I'm doing probably 50. You know what I mean? I'm on a 2-lane, 55-mile-an-hour, highway. Throw up all over the window, all over myself, and it wasn't just like one little upchuck. It was like 3 or 4 fucking huge throw ups, all over the door, all over
And you
my
just
lap.
had food. You just eat. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
brother. I've been there. I know it. I hear you.
Driving in it, and I still had a half hour before I got home.
Yep.
And at that moment, I fully surrendered, and that was when I the next day I called some guys that were in the program, and new beginning, I guess you would say. But yeah, that's when I knew I was done. You know, I was like, I can't fucking do this anymore. So that was that.
Dig it. What about the? Now we always ask two questions. Have you ever taken PCP?
Not that I'm aware of, and from my experiences, I don't think I did. I mean, the only thing that popped in my head is maybe like the liquid that we did back in the day was PCP, and you know, not like for my freak out, but who knows? You know what I mean? Like, but I don't believe I have, and I never, you know, sneaked or you know, looked it up.
And you ever seen a ghost?
Personally, no. But I do have main reason to believe that our house here is haunted. My daughter.
Wait, where you are right now?
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay.
My daughter, when she was about 4, and this has happened numerous times. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, we're in the living room, and she's pointing down the hallway into like the old office where the bathroom was. There's like a doorway and then another doorway. And she goes, "Hey, who's the guy with the briefcase and the top hat?" And we're like, "What? Who's the guy that keeps walking back and forth between the bathroom and the office with the briefcase and the top hat?" I don't know. You know what I mean? I've never seen it or really experienced anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've always heard that kids can.
And what's in that room now?
What's that? It's still a bathroom, and then it's a bathroom in our office.
Oh, I see.
Old office.
Okay.
So it's going to be my wife's office in the mud room. Yeah. But there was, my grandpa used to always joke with us that
who knows?
Dad built it on a Indian burial ground.
Oh shit! I missed that. What? Say that again.
So no, my grandpa always joked that my dad built the house on a Indian burial ground.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. So wait. So you are in the house you're? Yes, I did. The house you're in now is your family house?
Yeah. Yeah. Me and the wife bought it from my dad.
Oh wow. Neat. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's cool.
Yeah. So I was here when we built it, and you know, stepped on those thorny trees. Went right through my shoe, right into my foot. Those are fun. So yeah, it was kind of nice to like keep the child at home.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, man. You don't get to do that often. It's very rare. Increasingly that you get to like, you know, and that's interesting. I wonder what it would be like to do that. I don't know. I would have had my house would be really a lot nicer than my house is. Anything that you have experienced that you want to share with the audience of It's All Bad? Is there, you know, what was your experience? When did you first hear the show? How was that again? Oh, you heard Keith on Marin.
Yeah, I heard Keith on Marin, and I just, you know, started checking out the, you know, subscribed and started listening to you guys. And shit, man. I mean, just with the craziest story, you know, like I kind of like once I went back and listened to that episode yesterday, and I kind of almost agreed with Marin. Like, I don't know if my stories are worthy. You know what I mean? Compared to the Antons that were on and the guys in the first couple.
Yeah. Oh God, Anton. Anton's story is still one of my favorite stories, and I have to say, I really felt in the beginning, you know, and it's like, let's be, you know, like Keith and Danny, they're the stars of this show, you know, like they have had, they have such an incredible, and I mean, Keith, in particular just has such a huge range of people that he knows and people that he's come across from work. And
Yeah.
Keith has a way of like putting you absolutely at ease, but also just being like a uniquely interesting storyteller. Like that's his thing. That's how I met him. That was the experience. I met Keith through I met Danny through Keith, and I met Keith 15 or I don't know, fucking however many years ago, far too many years ago, through a buddy of mine that worked with him, and a director,
Nice,
and he had worked with Keith, a stylist, and we've been friends for a long time, and like the stories don't stop. Like I've been hearing these stories, like, and they're
Always
not the
new.
same stories. Like, like a lot of guys have like 5 or 6, like I've realized that like I'm the straight man in this scenario. Like I could try to help make people make sense of it, and I had a degenerate lifestyle, but like Keith just found himself in incredible places. He's a very, very, very good storyteller. And that was always the case. And we'd talk about doing something about that for years. It was like, Jesus Christ, you tell me these stories. I laughed like crazy. What are we going to do with it? And then he was like, hey, let's do a podcast. And I was like, man, that sounds like a good idea. But so I'm just happy to be on the show. But anyway, yeah, interesting. It is interesting, and I'm glad. I guess he and Mark get on well, so that's nice.
Nice.
Well, interesting. Any other little tidbits? Anything you've wanted to share that we haven't touched on? Anything you got in there that you want to share?
Definitely. So I did want to give just a shout out to Pops. I know he's not going to be probably hearing this, but so in high school we used to meet every morning, blaze up, before we'd go in. We had I was in like the business management thing or whatever, and we got out at 11:30. We had a field trip that day to some stupid conference, you know what I mean? Button down in khaki. Okay, cool. So we meet, we get all blazed up, and it's raining. Like we never parked on school property, just in case. So it's raining. I forgot to spray cologne. We run across the field. We get in. Everything is fine except I wore khaki shorts. So I can't go. So I have to stay in study hall. Fuck. Okay, well, fine.
Oh.
So I'm sitting in study hall. I get all my shit. Teacher comes down and he gets like real close to me in a seat. You know what I mean? And he's like, you should probably work on some stuff, to catch up or work ahead. And I'm like, yeah, I got all fucking day, man. I'll get to it. 2 seconds later, the principal comes back and is like, Mr. Wilt, come to my office. I guess I just reeked like fucking marijuana, which would make sense. They had to call my dad in. Dad comes in, and I'm freaking. I'm like, I know I totally did. It's raining. All that shit's coming out of me. You know what I mean? Like it's just compounded. I'm sitting in this tiny ass fucking principal's office. Dad comes in, and the principal's like, oh yeah, he smells like weed. We don't find anything on him. We don't know what to do, kind of thing. I don't even remember what he said really, but all I know is dad comes up to me and he's like sniffs me up and down, sits down, and he looks at the principal dead center and goes, all I smell is cigarette smoke, sir. And I was like, and you should have seen the principal too. The principal was like, well, all freaking out. You know what I mean? So anyway, I was at that moment, I was like, damn, my dad is pretty fucking cool, And so yeah, it's funny how you do all the shit that you do throughout the years, and you're not around for the parents, and then like you get back, and because I left at 18 and came back at 30, and
where'd you go when you left? Where'd you split to?
So I left. I went to Dayton for college, then I went to Cleveland, then I went out to LA. And I came back to Ohio at the end of 09. End of 09.
Why'd you split LA?
The recession had hit, and I was an assistant, starting to shoot a little bit. All my client, like it was like niche. I was firsting for like 3 or 4 guys, and everything pretty much went away. Got through to the end of 2009, and I was, I had taken a couple road trips with a buddy of mine from college, and we had always talked, kind of hidden at the idea of working together. And so I moved back here and moved to Cleveland to work with him, and then, in a roundabout way, 3 months later, he decided to call it quits. And then I was back in Ohio with my thumb on my ass, like, what the fuck am I doing here? So, anyway, but yeah, it was a good time. And then, took some time off, drank a lot after that.
Yeah.
I think I always
what was
called
your drinking choice?
Like
what was your thing?
Mostly beer, Miller Lite, and then Jäger bombs.
Jäger bombs. Now, what is officially?
Yeah.
What's a Jäger bomb? I love that everybody always shit talks Jäger, but the fact is that no one will ever turn down a shot of Jäger. Like, that's the thing. Like, if people who are drinking, they love that. They're like, oh, God, what are you doing order that? What are you, some sort of a frat boy? But if you offer that same person a shot of Jäger, they'll be like, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. And you're just like, wow.
Yeah, it's free, too.
But yeah, what is it? What's the Jäger bomb?
So a Jäger bomb is just Jäger and Red Bull. So I mean, it tastes like candy, dude. It tastes like candy, and they go down so fucking smooth. And then before you know it,
oh God,
oof. I was definitely. I remember I was the drinker that I would wake up and be like, oh fuck, who did I piss off? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of fucking sorry stories do I have to tell?
And what were some of those stories? What is that? What are those sorry stories?
Well, those are fuck, man. Pissing on people's records, thinking I'm in the toilet. Shit. It's so funny because I feel like my memory is like shot. You know what I mean? It's like, even as I was trying to remember some of the stuff that had happened for this, I was like, damn, I barely even remember, like, because it's like I was always such a blackout drinker, but it was just, I always had those, like, Kelly, I can't believe you fucking did that last night. I mean, it'd be like, I'd be in a complete blackout and come out of the blackout, and I'm like trying to hit on my buddy's girlfriend. Or one time we went to the Reds game, and this is a pretty fucking sad story, but anyway, shit-faced hammered. They dropped me off. I'm still in a blackout. I guess I was just like unruly and whatever, even at the game. Just a complete asshole, you know what I mean? Which was
sure.
I got too much booze in me. And I come to, and I'm driving, turning left, was when I came out of my blackout.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what the fuck? I'd started dating my wife for like 2 months. And I guess I had called a few times before that and was like, what the fuck? I needed cigarettes. I don't even know what the hell I said. And then she was like, I talked to her later. She's like, I knew right away because like the tone of your voice changed. You know what I mean? Because I called her after I got out of the blackout and was like, oh my God, what happened? Love. You know what I mean? It's just like fucking mind eraser.
Yeah.
And that's the scary stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like I drove pretty much straight home, and when you have to like park the car and look at the bumper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did the law ever get involved? Did you ever have to deal with that?
Yeah, a couple times, mainly just DUIs, but One, I pulled off. The first one, I got 3. The first one I pulled off, didn't flip on the headlights in time. Boom, he got me. Okay, guilty. You know what I mean? It was like I was driving
Headlights
2 blocks
was my first.
to a buddy's house.
Yep.
And so that was whatever. A week later, I get another one. The first one was in my hometown here in Greenville, and I was living in Dayton. I got it in Dayton, and kind of random. You know, he said I pulled in front of somebody, you know, pretty dangerously, whatever. I was pulling into my apartment complex. I went ahead and parked. He just gave me a ticket. You know, got the lawyers involved or whatever. It was like a 2 for 1. You know what I mean? I had to do the 3-day weekend hotel thing. But the third one, I was back.
Wait, you had you had to go to jail that night?
No, not that night. No, I just had to do like the 3-day. They send you off to a hotel and like you go through whatever it is. It's like a drinking recourse thing. I don't even know if we went to meetings or not.
Got it. And they send you to a hotel?
Yeah. It's like, and then because they plan it out to where like,
and they put you up there?
20 guys go. Huh?
They put you up at the hotel?
Yeah. I mean, you pay for it.
How demonic is that? You have to pay for it, but still, you're just like, hey, you're having a problem with alcohol and gauging how it's affecting your life. Why don't we just take you completely out of your normal life where there are essentially no consequences and take you out here and then put you in a really stressful situation and see how that goes? Like, what the fuck is that? That's insanity.
It's like from like
that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, go to a hospital.
9 to
like what?
9 to 4. 9 to 4. You got to do like whatever they have on the schedule. You know what I mean? And then get your.
It makes you wonder who comes up with these ideas. Like it just makes you wonder who comes up with those kinds of ideas. But anyway, and so then what was the third one you were saying?
More money for the county. Yeah, so the third one was a good one.
Oh boy!
I was back visiting from LA over the holidays. It was like 2 days after the New Year, and I was out at the local bar. I had my dad's Dodge Ram that was like jacked up like 4 inches, totally out of my element to drive. You know what I mean? But I was driving it.
Yeah.
And nothing's really going on. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm just gonna head to Taco Bell, and I was feeling pretty lit. I was at the bar just boozing. Head to Taco Bell and get some food and go home. So, and it's like 2. I pull in, and it's got a crazy like real tight S to the drive-through. There's a sign out there. As I pull in, I clip the sign, and then I just keep going. Totally, I mean, it bulldozed the sign pretty much. It didn't feel like it in the Ram, you know what I mean? As soon as I pull up to the microphone, they turn the lights off. And I was like, hey, come on, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Let me get one order in. Let's go. And they're like, no, sorry, sir, we're closed, blah, blah, blah. So you had to turn left to keep going around to the window or whatever. And I just punch it and go up over all their landscaping and all this shit. And in the meantime, I guess they call the cops. And parking lots are connected to another McDonald's, which is 24-hour McDonald's. So I just, scoop over and pull right into their drive-through.
The worst. The worst.
I think I was like, I'll take 2 cheeseburgers.
I'll take 2 DUIs, please.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I
was like, cancel it. You know what I mean? And so I fucking pulled over. They nailed me. I end up, they take me to jail that night. I don't know if they were going to, but it was one of those where like I'm sitting in there and he's doing all the paperwork. I'm cuffed. I'm in a chair and I'm like, I gotta pee, man. Is there, how soon can you take me to the bathroom?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, just wait. You're fine. Whatever, doing his cop thing. And I'm like, I'd wait. Mom, I'm like, seriously, I really got to pee, dude, for real. Like, just can't, come on. Oh, fuck you and your peeing or whatever he said. And then finally, I just let it go, spread my legs, and I just let it go. Man, he got pissed. He's like, yep, you're going to jail
pissed
tonight.
right there? You pissed right there in the seat?
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Dude, it was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, and he got annoyed by that? Really? Oh, you think so, doctor? That's incredible.
Maybe not the smartest thing to do to a cop, you know, who can throw you into jail.
But you obviously had
I
to
think it
fucking
was
go.
like a weekend. Dude, I did, man. It was like, just let me run to the bathroom real quick, man. I mean, you can watch me. You know what I mean? Like, just let me fucking relieve myself. And I kind of almost feel like he would have just made a call and maybe had somebody come pick me up if I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But he threw me in. And I was in there for like 2 days or something because of, you know, the holiday or
and were you like
or
seated next to his desk? Like was he processing you next to his desk and you pissed right there?
Yep, I was in a chair. We were both sitting. He was at his desk, and it was like,
oh,
you know,
Jesus,
I mean,
he like was straight up old fucking Hill Street Blues style.
Oh yeah,
like
dude.
Straight up NYPD like, Blue, like Botchko style.
I made sure, like, I cleared my crotch out of the way so it would, you know, get in the seat. So I remember making sure of that. But
incredible.
So that was good. So, but what the beauty on the other side of that is, I got back to California, and my lawyer back here was working it out or whatever. And in lieu being my third one in Ohio, I was looking at 30 days. In lieu of that, I was able to hit a 10-day rehab that I went to in Costa Mesa.
Good.
So that was my introduction into the program. Granted, it took me 11 years to get a year, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, that was my introduction. So I knew where to go. And I mean, even at that point, like, I was kind of realizing I had a fucking problem. You know what I mean? I just didn't want to quit.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So,
man. Well, and now you're on the other side of it, and you got you got months sober too, right? Like a year plus.
No, I got like 31 months now. So 2.5.
That's awesome, man. 2.5. Shit. Yep. Nice.
Finally. I mean, it seems like it almost feels like forever, but then doesn't. You know, I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything else you wanted to share, definitely share it.
Now, are you guys still doing the like the extras for the?
Oh Patreon? Yeah, if you got a story for the Patreon, man, love it. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was saving a couple of those. Just people got to pay for that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you got? Exactly, they do. That's true. I always forget about that, but yeah.
But anyway, I got one before the extra. So this was on a longer bender. Was working out in California. Got a job. We went to New York. Met with, and I don't know, you guys will probably beep it out, but I'll say it anyway. It was PR and cover for. I don't know if you guys remember that band. Anyway, hit it off with those guys. Whatever. Went out on the town with him. And man, it was like a whole new world compared to me. You know, corn-fed white boy from Ohio, and just the chicks that were just like throwing themselves at him, pretty much, you know. And I'm like trying to keep up, you know, like making conversation with these girls, you know, and it's like not my element to a degree, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty social and I'm pretty laughable and can have a good time, but I just felt the pressure, I guess, for some reason. And anyway, we're boozing up, doing shots, kind of trading some stories. And this was 08. And at a certain point, I could feel myself getting to like that point of blacking out. So I bolted.
Yeah.
I get back to the hotel. I'm back there, and I'm like, okay, we're supposed to meet at the hotel lobby at 7, and it's like 4:30, almost 5. So I get all my shit ready, and I am debating on whether or not to close my eyes, because I know if I close my eyes and actually fall asleep, I'm not fucking waking up. You know what I mean? And I do, and I set my alarm. I wake up like 6:45. Get down there just in time. Hop in the cab. Anyway, we get to the airport, and I roll up to the counter and I buy a beer. Producer walks by and is like, "Really, Kelly?" So I'm sitting there having a beer, and this chick starts talking to me. Older woman, actually. I mean, I don't want to degrade. But anyway, we just kind of hit it off. She's going back to LA. Had no idea she was on the same flight. She ends up on the same flight. As we're walking back there, she asked me to try to trade seats and sit next to her. I'm like, all right. In the meantime, the producer's like, hey, I'm sitting next to the photographer. I want you to trade seats with me so I don't have to sit next to him and I can work on the stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. So I totally committed to like trade seats with the producer. Me being the asshole that I am, I end up trading seats with like the girl, whoever was sitting next to that girl I just met at the bar.
Yeah, right.
Long story short, we're, popping the bottles of Sky vodka, boozing it up. I'm getting the dirty eye from the producer from across the plane because I totally just did a, asshole move. And I was like, I whispered to her, you ever heard of the Mile High Club? She's like, I have. And I just said, what do you think? She goes, how do we do this? I was like, I don't know. Meet me at the bathroom. So we get in there. We do it. It was like quick though. I ended up like not even finishing. The worst part is that, I mean, you know how tight it is in those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I can't imagine being in another human.
She goes out and there's like a fucking 10-year-old girl waiting and like totally looks right at me as I slam the door. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I have to fucking walk out there. Fuck. So anyway, walk out, talk about a walk of shame. Ends up the steward tells everybody on the flight, yeah, the bald guy with the glasses just joined the Mile High Club. Producer found out about it. She wasn't happy. And so it's like, shit. Fuck yeah, man, Mile High Club. But then it's like, the cost that kind of comes with that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But anyway, we ended up hooking up for a good 3-4 months after that. She lived up north a little ways, and she'd come down every couple weekends. And
oh, that's good.
Have some cheesecake and wine, and have a little fun. So, but
cheesecake
it's funny
and
too,
wine,
like,
nice.
I have made amends to that photographer. And the interesting part is, because within that, like, we ask what we can do to make it right. And he said, you know what? Like, none of that even bothered me. What bothered me is that I never knew what Kelly was going to show up to set. And I didn't even realize that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even realize, like, where my level of, like, attitude was depending on hungover, not hungover. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't even pick up on that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was shocking to me. You know what I mean? It's like just the everyday interactions of how, you know, when you're all fucked up and hungover and how you react to people sometimes. And I don't know, but it just opened my eyes to like, there's bigger things than just like, you know, what I did. You know what I mean? So, but that was awesome. That was a good,
For
back
sure.
and forth email.
No, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And did you ever, and with that producer, did you ever talk to them?
Yeah, we did. We ended up having a really long phone conversation, and you know, it's. I mean, I felt this fucking big, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was sorry. I was apologetic. Um, I wasn't, you know, obviously working the program, and I know she had got in, and she's got a decent amount of time. She's still sober from when, you know, she got in
Okay.
back then, and so, but I reached out to her. I just haven't heard anything back as far as, you know, yes, let's talk, or, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, she's doing good. So,
Good, good. So you got one for the Patreon? Yeah. Oh wow. And here you are. And now you're married, you got a kid?
yeah. I mean,
You
even the
seem
shit I
happy.
put her through, it's, oh man. I mean, so before I threw up all over myself, because like even that next morning, like I got home, came down, you know, went to the washer room, stripped everything I had off, threw it in the washer. You know, obviously I'm sleeping in the morning. The wife is doing laundry. She's like, "Hey, I found your fucking belt in the washer."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah. Um, you know, but even I mean, fuck, dude, the shit I put her through. Um, not knowing where I was, and her even, you know, she'd be like checking the jail lists, you know,
Ah,
because I'd just be out, you know what I mean, like driving around the country
yeah.
drinking, you know,
Yeah.
listening to music or
You like
whatever.
to travel in the car and do it? You like to travel in the car and get ham boned?
I don't know if I liked it. I mean, it was,
But that's just what happened.
yeah, it's
No, I mean
kind of
I
how it
will
was.
admit that I did. Like I remembered a point in my life where I've and just thank God it'll never ever happen again, and that's all I can ever say. But and thank God I've been
Mhm.
I got I got away with the bad behavior I had. But there have been times in my life, and I know that where I've been like, this drive is going to be better if I have a pop, or this drop, you know, I'm going to get ready to go out and just like go, you know. When I had my Cutlass, you know, V8, just gangster car, love that fucking car, and just get out there and just be like, yeah, I'd be like, oh, this is fun, and it is just a miracle and a blessing that did not
I mean,
that
and
did
half,
not
I mean, it was like one night, I didn't even,
go the wrong way.
you know, yeah, I mean, definitely, especially like as many times as I fucking did it and, you know, driving like this, you know what I mean? Like, knock on fucking wood.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, and there were even times where like I feel like
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
wouldn't even drink that much. And there was one night I ended up shitting the fucking bed, and talk about embarrassing. I don't even know if we were married yet. But I mean, even at the end, like she was this close to leaving. You know what I mean? If I'd have kept drinking and all that stuff,
Yeah,
you know, so I would
sure.
have lost. You know,
Yep, yep,
luckily with work, that was always a priority. Um,
sure.
you know, so even, you know, I would always make sure that I'm there and, you know, ready to go. Um, you know, one night I pull up and I'm pretty hammered, and I remember like jamming out to the last song in the driveway. Next
Mm.
thing I know, it's morning. They're knocking on the window to wake me up. I just passed out in the car.
Who's knocking?
My wife and daughter.
Fuck. Yeah.
I mean, you know, the stupid shit that gets us to.
Well, you flipped that script, my brother.
Yeah, you know, nothing like celebrating a buddy's birthday, and we're at a bar in Venice. Buddies leave, and of course I want more. I kept drinking. I was like, yeah, I'll just walk back here after a bit. I don't know what the hell happened. I wake up in Marina del Rey on the lawn of an apartment complex, like phone in hand, glasses on chest, wallet still in my pocket somehow. You know, 10% on the phone. Was able to I didn't even know where the fuck I was. Like I called my buddies. They're like, "What the hell happened to you?" And I'm like, I don't know." So like time and time again, those kind of fucking stories, you know.
Yeah.
And at the time, you don't see that the alcohol is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It's feels so much better to be on this side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fucking A. No, fucking A. That's terrifying when you hear it, right? Like when you say it back to yourself, you're just like, whoa, what? Like and I believe me, I relate, and I know the other fellas on the cast do too. Is like the and sometimes you're just like, wow, there, but for the grace of it that I went, okay, cool, that's crazy. What was I thinking? But now you're on the other side of it, and you're moving forward, dude. I can't even. I can't thank you enough.
No, thank you guys. Seriously, I was trying to think of a word that
It's so
describes
nice.
like how
It's
I
extra
felt about
special
you
when
know you
someone
guys
who
accepting
listens
it.
to the show. Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I was trying to think of the word of like how I felt when you know you guys accepted or whatever, and it was like just truly humbled. I mean, I love what you guys do because it's like you know fellowship before and after the meetings. It's always telling war stories, cracking fucking jokes. You know what I mean? The horrors of it all. And then when I heard
Yeah.
about this, I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. And you guys do it so well. You know what I mean? So hopefully there's something
Well,
in there from my story. You know what I mean? Some of those stories that
dude,
can
the
make a few
privilege is
people laugh.
ours. Like everybody who has the guts to come on the show and just talk and be honest is like the privilege is ours. And thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, seriously, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
And I think we probably got it right. Nathan, you got everything good?
Sure did.
Brother, thank you so much. I'm gonna leave the Zoom, gents.
Perfect.
Dude,
Thanks, Mike.
great meeting you, man, and thanks for taking the time,
Appreciate
man. And have a great hang tough and stay safe during this fucking madness.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, brother. Later.
Later.
Hey guys, Russian Danny here. Thanks for listening to another episode of It's All Bad. Please like and subscribe on our Instagram at itisallbad. If you want to be on the show, our email address is itisallbadpodcast@gmail.com. We got some merch up for you guys. We got shirts you can order through the Big Cartel. You can find a link on our Instagram as well. And please keep listening. Please keep giving us your guys' feedback. We love all of you. If you want some bonus stories and some extra content, check out our Patreon, where every week when we have a guest on, we have them tell a little bonus story and we drop it on the Patreon. And there's some way out shit on there, man. Yeah, thanks a lot. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Peace.